Good morning, everybody. It's Ben Jones with Badger from Bronson Coffee Roasters again. We're here Friday morning live from my coffee workshop at home. Thought we'd make some coffee for the weekend. I am a big fan of the Chemex brewer. Been friends with that company for quite some time. It's a product that we believe in at Badger from Bronson. One of the things that I really love about the Chemex is, we've talked about this before, but this very thick paper filter really does a fantastic job of cleaning up, removing the body elements. So we pull out, excuse me, pull out the fine particles, we lose the grit. Contrast that with a French press and that after coffee sludge. We don't get those with the Chemex because of the absorptive qualities of the paper. It also pulls back the oils that go into the cup, so that reduces body, allows us to taste with more clarity the unique flavors of the coffee. Big fan of the filter. Now, this video, this little part today, we're gonna, the target audience is someone who maybe wants to try this filter but doesn't have a Chemex. Maybe you have a Hario V60. So we're just gonna run, before you go out and invest in a Chemex, let's go ahead and try out, see what the paper does. I still love the Chemex because it's a great shape, beautiful little brewer. You can do a lot of fun things with it. But if you already have a Hario, you can pick up a pack of Chemex filters at not an unreasonable expense and give yourself a try with that filtration. All right, so best practice always, place the filter in the cone and give it a rinse. We want to rinse out the loose paper particles. We want to preheat the vessel. Also, this helps us get a more accurate brew. Helps if we already saturate the paper, the water we add will go into the coffee and not be absorbed by the paper. So another reason for doing that. All right, so I have this preheated. I'm just gonna pour out my water. And the coffee I'm using today, I have, this is the Colombia Las Brisas. I still am working through the, hello little spider, still working through the, not in here, there's climbing on the wall. Still working through the Colombia. I really love it, so I'm quite happy to be playing with it. Grind size today, I'm finer than I would normally go with a classic Chemex. Slightly, ever so slightly, or on the coarse side of drip. Toss that right in, and I'm just gonna do 19 grams. I'm gonna keep it at my single standard dose for my 10-ounce mug. All right, so one of the reasons I'm going with a smaller grind size than I would for Chemex is the aggressive ridging on the inside of the V60. That's going to give all those little really deep ridges. That's going to give a little bit of a lift to the paper, so it's going to increase flow. Similarly, I'm using less than half the amount of grounds I would typically use on a full Chemex. Smaller dose of coffee means less resistance of the water passing through. So I need to add back in some resistance by going smaller particles to slow down the brew. All right, that's the technical theory. And then to get in here and start doing it, start my timer, and water right in the middle. Move it around, get everything nice and wet. Target water dose, you really just want to kind of take your dry grounds dose and double that. Gives you your dose for your bloom. So if I did 19 grams in, that would be about 38 grams. I put in 50, not the end of the world. Give it a good 30 seconds or so, just to let the water soak in. Now that all those coffee particles are charged with water, I just start slowly adding my water. It's going to be hard for me to not follow my Chemex recipe, just because when I see that Chemex paper, I think Chemex, and I want to go with the Chemex recipe. But I need to stop at about 300 grams, 323, if I multiply 19 by 17. 323. I'm not good at the math part of it, but about 300 grams is what I want to shoot for my mug. It's hard to do math before you've had coffee. So target brew time on this, with this particle size, I want to shoot for a brew about 3 in 3 minute range. Maybe 3 to 3.5 minutes. And that is just the result of the size of the particles. Remember, the smaller the particles, the smaller the time. If you're brewing large particles of coffee, make those particles a little bit larger, make your time a little bit longer. All right, I'm just gonna bring this up to my total of 300 grams. In the case that I wasn't using a scale, if I was just brewing with some volumes, measure out my water in a measuring cup, I would do what's the capacity of my beverage, how much am I making, and then add another ounce or two for the anticipating what gets absorbed by the coffee grounds. Good morning, Eric. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Joshua's been on vacation this week, so we've been a little quieter on the videos, but that's okay. We're just now a touch over 3 minutes. Chemex filter, Hario V60 brewer. We do retail the Hario brewer on our website at batdorfcoffee.com. And again, our coffee is the Colombia Las Brisas. I did bring in some other coffee. I have our Guatemala El Volcan, but you know, I just really like this Colombia right now, so I'm sticking with that. Cleanup with the Chemex filters is real easy. You just collect and lift out your filter, put it into the compost. With the brewer itself, whether you're using the glass Chemex or something of this sort, all we really need to do while the coffee's still fresh, just rinse it off. Then about once a week, once every couple weeks, whatever mood you're in, soak in some hot water, maybe use a little bit of a coffee cleaner. I just like to use the same product we use for cleaning espresso machines. That works great for just breaking down coffee oils, especially on glasses and ceramics. Just give it a little soak in some of that, and it'll stay nice and clean. And clean equipment makes much easier the brewing of delicious coffee. The aroma on this is fantastic. So using that Chemex filter on the V60, it's not a perfect analogy to the Chemex. The Chemex will still give a subtly different flavor, but the filtration, definitely, you definitely get the experience working with that filter paper. You can't go wrong with Chemex products and Hario V60. It's a very fine brewer. In my opinion, the V60, it's a little more like a finely tuned sports car. It's a little more susceptible to small changes in technique, things of that sort. You can get a huge range of qualities of brew with the Hario V60 and the Hario filters. Adding in the Chemex filter will kind of mellow that out and kind of tighten in some of the variables, let you more easily brew a more consistent cup. This is tasty. It's a good cup of coffee. Thank you for joining us today. I'll see you back here on Monday. I'm not sure what we're going to do. It'll be something fun. If you have any suggestions, any questions, I would love to check in on the comments and see what people are wanting to see. So feel free to comment what you'd like to learn, or if you have any crazy ideas you want me to try. This is, after all, the workshop. So have a great weekend, everybody.